What is up, Homo sapiens? I'm Francis D. Williams from Vivid House Studios, and welcome to my first ever vloggy tutorial type thing where I'm talking directly to you and showing you this ugly mug. Brief intro to me: I've been a professional photographer, videographer and graphic designer for over 20 years now. That's right, I'm really old. Anyway, I've created this channel to share a few tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, primarily in Adobe software. We're talking After Effects, Photoshop and Premiere. And let's just have some fun. Maybe I can teach you something, maybe you can teach me something, because every day's a learning day. Doesn't matter who you are. So I'm not going to waste your time anymore chatting. Let's just get stuck in. Okay, so this is the effect we're doing today. It's the dispersion paint splatter effect. And yes, it's quite old. It's been done before a lot, but I like it. I like it a lot. So to start with, I've got a photo of the lovely Laura here. You may see her pop up in a lot of my tutorials and videos because she is my unwilling guinea pig. Sometimes willing, depends if it benefits her or not. Don't tell her I said that. So when I took this photo, I reflected a load of rainbow colours on her face just because it will help me with my overall image, and then I can play on that. If you are taking the image yourself, do as much as you can in production. Saves you time in post-production, and it's fun to experiment behind the camera. Anyway, I will say that this technique works a lot better if you've got a single colour background, but it doesn't matter if you haven't. I'll show you ways around it later on in the video. So we'll start by duplicating the layer, press Ctrl J or Command J on the Mac, and then get your lasso tool, make a selection around your subject, and then go up to Edit, Fill, select Content Aware Fill, click OK. So what that will do is that will delete her, fill in the background, and now we have plain background and a cutout. Nice little cutout there. So we'll duplicate this layer again, hide the bottom one. What I want to do is I'm just going to quickly elaborate on these colors for my overall final image. So I'll skip that bit. There we go. And now we go up to Filter, Liquify, and you want your density to be about 14. The size about 378 is fine. Pressure, yeah, that looks okay. So with your brush, you're just going to start dragging out your subject as much as you like. You want to drag it as far as you want the explosion to go. I'm going to just increase the pressure a bit there, drag it a bit further. Obviously, the more you drag it, the more you're going to be able to blast the image outwards. Select OK there, then come down to your layer mask and create a layer mask. Now with layer masks, if you don't know already, select your paintbrush and black will subtract from your image and white will put it back in. And you can flip between the two by just pressing X on your palette there. Anyway, to start with, we want the whole image gone. So again, you come over and click on your mask. You can press Ctrl and Backspace, and what that does is that will 100% fill or 100% subtract depending on what color you've got selected over in your palette. So if you've got white selected, it will 100% subtract, and if you've got black selected, it will 100% fill. And with her completely gone, what we want to do is go over to our brush and get a nice large brush and start painting her back in. Obviously, you're going to want some of your image to be fully visible. So have your opacity and your flow set to 100%. Brush, large round brush, soft or hard edges, it doesn't matter, whichever you prefer. And just really start painting back in that side of her. Then we can go and get a special effects brush for the splatter effect. Now you can use presets that are already on here. You've got Kyle's splatter brushes. I don't know who Kyle is, but I know he's good enough to have brushes saved on Photoshop presets. Does anyone know a Carl? Does anyone know a Carl? Do you know a Carl? Actually, my best mate at secondary school was called Carl. He was an Australian, but then he went back to Australia, got deported. Haven't seen him since. Yeah, in fact, Kyle, if you're watching this, Kyle from Roundwood Park, Harpenden, went back to Australia. Yeah, hit me up, man. It's Fran. It's been too long. Anyway, what you can see I'm doing here is just regulating the sizes of the brush and the dynamics. So it flips around, creates different shapes. And you can do that by using your brackets keys, going up and down. That's the nice quick shortcut to it. And that's the general gist of this effect. So just going to start that again and do it all properly. Paint her back in. Get those splatters going on. And you can really see how this effect works. And it's really important to have loads of small ones as well. I do find that that makes a big difference, getting all the teeny little ones in there. Likewise with the big splatters as well. So let's have a quick look at a slightly more complicated example where you've got multiple colours in the background, like this tree. Link in the description below. I got this from Envato Elements. You just need an account for that if you want to download it. So with this one, you obviously copy your layer again and then go up to select, and we're going to use color range this time. Make sure it's set to sample colors, and then you'll take your little eyedropper tool and click the color that you want to cut out, and you can hold down shift and drag it to select a range of colors either side of the color. So if you're using something like a tree, just make sure you're not dragging it across the blues in the background. So you want to just drag over the browns and the greens, and then with your fuzziness slider, which is your range either side of the colors you've selected, you can drag it up and down. So the lower the number is, the less color range it will select. The higher it is, the more color range it will select. And you want to try and focus on keeping that background as dark as possible, but still getting a decent range in there. Once you're happy, click OK, and you'll get your selection come up. Now we only want the tree here, so we can get our lasso tool and hold down Alt and just drag it around underneath the tree and across the edge, around the perimeter, and boom. So it will just take out the tree area. And once you're happy with that, click on your layer mask, and that's masked out the tree for you. Now you'll notice here it's got some transparency amongst the tree. That's because the color range has taken out certain bits. So we can fix that easily, it's no problem. I'll create a solid color. Let's go for like a light blue here just to show the tree more. There we go. It stands out better. And select your mask, and then you can get your paintbrush tool, and what you do is you change your blend mode and make sure it's set to overlay, and then with white selected on your brush you can just start painting back in some of those missing areas. Okay, so that looks pretty decent. So once you're happy with your selection, you've got a nice tree cut out there, you can go ahead and change your sky, change the colors of your background, you know, do whatever you want to it, do the necessary changes to your image and make sure it looks how you want it to look. And I went for something like a little Serengeti kind of vibe. And what I've done is I've taken some sample colors from the tree itself here. I've created maybe 4 or 5 different colors and saved them to my color palettes, so I've got those colors from the actual image saved. And then you can go ahead and select your layer mask and start taking out the tree just like you did before with your brush tool. Just draw some splatter back in there, just like before. You always need a little bit of debris to make this come alive. And now here's my little extra bonus tip. You can create a brush out of anything you like, any shape you like. And what I've decided to do is, for this occasion, create an oak leaf. So it creates the pattern of the leaf. Now obviously if you paint it all over your image how it was, it's just going to draw back the image in the shape of a leaf, which is not what we want, because we want to make it look like leaves, hence why we saved our color palettes. So using your selection of color palettes here, you'll create a solid layer in that color, and then you'll start painting back in. The concept is you'll paint back in that color in the shape of random leaves. So you go new solid, then click OK, then click on your mask, Control I to invert it. Head back over to your brushes, make sure your pattern is selected, and Alt over in your palette, make sure they're set to black and white. And with white selected, we'll just start painting back in the leaves. Now you mix up your dynamics and your sizes and everything, your shape within your presets, so that they're all not all facing the same way and that. And then just have some fun with it. And what you can do is you do a different solid layer for each different color you've got, and you can end up with something like this. So yeah, just experiment and build it all up in different layers and different sizes. Now, I know what a load of you lot are going to say. You're going to be all like, but W, the Great British Oak doesn't grow in Africa. And you'd be right. So to you, all I can say is, clever girl. Here's another example of a Rubik's Cube getting sucked into some kind of space void. So with this one, I actually created a brush in the shape of a cube, which, as you can see, you can do loads of cool stuff with. But on this occasion, I've just used it to do the same sort of technique. Okay, and again, I've used different colors and different dynamics, different angles. And that's all you need to do really on that. Okay, that's it from me today, just short and sweet. Go and have some fun with it. If you want to see how I produced this final image, then I'll also show workflows on this channel, just to sped up, workflow, as it were. See you next time.